Hello beautiful people and welcome back to my channel. Once again, my name is Sarah and this channel is all about creating a life that you love because you deserve it. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about what my plan was when I was what I was thinking my plan would be when I was leaving my job, and then kind of what it turned into because it really changed dramatically. And then also how I was able to do this and what I kind of did to prepare myself for this. So without further ado, I'll just go ahead and dive right into it. So first thing, what my plan was. So for 6 months, I was kind of developing what my plan was going to be and looking at all the different options that I had. And I knew that I eventually wanted to grow an online business, and I knew that was my ultimate goal. But it's you can't just start off by doing that. You have to, build it, and it takes time. So I was like, all right, I can either continue working here and not really making the time for it, or I can quit, get a part-time job, and do that. So that's kind of what my idea was, and what it ended up turning into was okay, what do I love to do? I love to be outdoors. I love to rock climb. I love to, be in the wilderness, those sort of things. So I narrowed it down to where I would want to actually be it as far as location, and as well as where could I live for very inexpensively and have a job. So after doing a lot of research, I decided on living in Yosemite National Park. And so I was I got the job there. I was ready to move. I packed all my stuff, and I got a call on the day before I was supposed to be heading up. So my last day of work was a Friday. I was supposed to start work there on Monday, so I was gonna leave that Saturday morning. And I got a call that Friday, and they were basically hey, we actually don't have the housing available for you this week. We don't know when it's going to become available, but hopefully it'll be next week. And I'm that's kind of a red flag. I'm sorry, I just quit my job and now you're telling me that you don't know where you're gonna be able to put me so that I can start my new job. So I was freaking out. And then so luckily I had a week. I had a week to kind of figure it out and see what I wanted to do. But then I ended up getting a call the following week saying, we have housing for you. That's great. Come on, you can head over and start work the following Monday. Cool. So I get there, and keep in mind, I do have my boyfriend with me as well. He got a job up there, but again, housing wasn't ready for him. So when we got there, the housing that we requested and that they promised us was not available. So I was living in a tent with 2 other girls, and I had to get a guest pass for my boyfriend because he didn't have housing available for him. Ugh, it was just such a mess. I got there and I was I immediately had this rush of anxiety. I'm not going to do this. This is not what I had in mind. This is not something this is stressing me out more than when I was at my old job. So I'm why would I put myself in a worse situation if I immediately know? It's my intuition was just telling me this is not where you're supposed to be almost immediately. And not only that, but I was also okay, if I don't have the housing, I can't film or start my online business because I never will have service. I couldn't do all the things that I wanted to, which was the point of me leaving. So I literally stayed there for one night, decided that nope, if they are not going to be able to get me the housing that I want, then it's not for me. So my plan B, which I was honestly so blessed to have, not a lot of people get this, okay, I'll tell you what it is. So I ended up moving to Truckee, California, and my stepdad has a beautiful cabin up here that I grew up, coming to every so often. And he said, why don't you come up here and live for free? And I'm yeah. So I moved up to my dad's cabin, and it's just been a dream. I came up here without a job in line. I was just kind of let's just go and do it, and we'll figure it out when we get there. And I feel so lucky. I don't know how it turned into the worst feeling ever to this huge relief. And what's crazy is you would think that since I don't have a job that I'd be freaking out, but I'm really just calm. I feel good. And that's the way that I wanted to feel when I was in Yosemite, but it didn't happen. So here I am, and it is amazing so far. I've been looking for part-time jobs. I think I found one. I have an interview. Hopefully, fingers crossed it goes good, but the company really goes like in line with what I am and what my core values are. So I'm really excited about it. I'll let you guys know how it goes. But yeah, so I know like a lot of my friends, a lot of my family were like, what are you doing? Like, oh, you were talking so much about Yosemite. You loved it. I'm like, yes, I know. And like, you know, it was like kind of embarrassing, but at the same time, I'm like, why would I be embarrassed if I like felt such bad anxiety when I was there? Like, I should be proud that I was like, okay, like I have this feeling. It's not for me. I'm going to go and do something else. So like that was just really empowering. The fact that like I knew immediately that that wasn't for me and I'm going to change the situation. So yeah, that was what my plan was and what it turned into. So I'm excited about it. I feel like I'm in a good place. We'll see as time goes on. And I mean, it's all about like this whole experience is for me to like have a plan to not have a plan. Does that make sense? Like being okay with like change and being okay with like things not going the way they were supposed to. So yeah, I feel good. Anyways, now back to my other topic. So I wanted to talk about how I was actually able to leave. And I know in my last video, I kind of talked about like what the steps were for preparing to leave, but I didn't really go into detail on like exactly what I did, like, or I guess what gave me the ability to leave. So basically, so I was a workaholic. I don't even remember like until last year, like I never took PTO, so like pay time off. I never took vacations. I was just like work because I don't know. I was like super motivated. I loved it. I loved what I did. And I also just felt bad. I'm like, I can't leave. Like my customers need me, you know? So I like had almost that fear or anxiety of like, I can't leave. I need to work. And I think that also played a part in like that burnt out feeling that I had, because towards the end I was just like, all I need is like to not be at work. So I started taking like a ton of vacation and using all my vacation time. And I had like a lot of hours saved up. So I was able to take vacations and I even had some left over. So towards the end I was like, okay, I'm like gonna start prepping for not working, if that makes sense. Like while I'm using this paid time off, I'm going to be doing research and preparing for when I don't have a job. So that's kind of like one of the things that I would say helped me prep is I had a lot of like time where I could not be at work and putting my focus where I wanted it to be. Another thing was I was paying rent since I was like 18 years old. So I was like, I'm not doing this. Like if I ever want to be able to like whatever it is that I want to do, like buy a house or quit my job, which ended up being what it is, like I cannot be putting all of my expenses towards rent. And like where I live in the Bay Area, it is ridiculously expensive. Like I think I looked up a statistic and it was like the average 1-bedroom apartment in the Bay Area, it was like $3,000. And that is just absurd to me. And like, yeah, I could have found something cheaper, but like even still, like I'm working 40 plus hours a week to only pay my rent and bills. No. So I'm like, screw that. I'm moving back home with my family because I mean, luckily I have that opportunity. I know some people don't, but my family welcomed me home with open arms. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like I can save up for the next few months. And that's honestly what I did. I like cut so many costs out. Like obviously the biggest one was rent, but then I also just focused on paying off all my debt that I had and like eliminating as much little expenses that I did. Like I stopped doing my nails. Like I stopped getting manicures and pedicures. I stopped like getting my hair done. I stopped buying just like pointless stuff that I wanted and didn't need it. So yeah, just those little things honestly went a long way because I was able to save like a large quantity of money that I needed so that like when I was ready to leave my job, even if I didn't have a job lined up, I felt comfortable enough to actually do that. So yeah, I'm trying to think of like anything else that I did to prepare myself, or like how I was able to do it. Those are kind of the top things. Trying to see what else. I took some notes, so let me see. Ooh, what is that? I got chocolate hummus on me, by the way. Okay, so yeah, I did all those cutting costs, and then I had like a set goal of what I wanted to get to before I felt comfortable actually like leaving my job, because obviously like I needed to be able to make sure that I like the installment loans that I still have, like my auto loan and my phone bill, I needed to make sure that like I'm taking those into consideration and I still have the money to pay those even if I don't get a job at all. So I actually watched this one YouTube video before I quit my job that was super, like, it honestly just like clicked for me. Her name is Evelyn of the Internets. I'll like try to tag the video in the description bar, but she is, one, hilarious, and two, so inspiring. Like, there's this one video she talked about where it was like being fun employed. And very similar to me, she, you know, worked in a corporate job, and she was like, okay, I just want a year to myself. And she literally wrote down like all these different things that she wanted to do while she was unemployed. And she didn't like put, you know, she had some like, I guess like side hustles, but that wasn't the point. The point was to like totally put her focus on things that she wanted to do in her life that she never made the time for. And I'm like, yeah, like, doesn't everyone need to do that? Like, I didn't know, I was like, duh, like, that's just what it clicked for me. And like, that's kind of where the turning point for me is like, okay, even if I don't have a job, that's fine. I've saved enough money to be able to enjoy it. So I honestly, if you are looking into leaving your job, look at her video, because it was like, it really clicked for me there when I was like, okay, if I don't have a job, like, I don't have to stress about it. I should just enjoy it, because this is what I've been working so hard to do. Yeah. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. That was like a lot of information packed into one big conversation. So please make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification button so you guys know when my next video is going to be out. I need to get more consistent with them. Editing's hard. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.